time for a quick update video. If you are subscribed to my newsletter or read my blog, then you already know that I was let go by my agency. I wanted to post an update on YouTube a lot sooner, but I was very busy. I had some projects and I visited my family in Hong Kong, so I didn't have the capacity to produce a whole video, but now I'm here and yeah, I was let go by my agency. The reason being that they found my style hard to market in an industry which at the moment is quite tough. And it was bittersweet. Obviously, it hurt my ego a little bit, but to be honest, in the last 2 years, our working relationship was very unproductive, as in I wasn't bringing in any new clients for them and they weren't bringing any new clients for me. I already knew that this ending of our working relationship was the correct way to go. To be fair, my agency also underlined that I was always very pleasant to work with, and all the clients that ever got to work with me through my agency were always very happy with me. So it's not like they just coldly rejected me or anything like that. They let me down gently, basically. And I think the more that I look back on that time when they sent me the email saying that they no longer wanted to work with me, by the way, this was sometime in March, the less of a big deal that I see it as. Like I said, I kind of see it as like a natural ending to a nice relationship that I had for a while. I know that a lot of you find me through my video on how to get into an illustration agency and ask me questions about how to do it and also whether it's worth it or not. And if I were to get that question today, then I would still pretty much give the same answer. I think that it's not necessary to have an agency to succeed, but it can be very enriching and it can be kind of like a stepping stone in your career. So I feel like it's hard for me to say. I've seen people become very successful illustrators or cartoon artists without an agency, and I've seen people be very successful with agencies. I feel like you just have to try and do the best that you can do with what you have. I know that sounds very cheesy, maybe not helpful, but basically what I'm trying to say is don't forgo the experience of trying to be part of an agency. Still try and apply wherever you can. But if it's not happening for you right now, then don't be so hard on yourself and just try to find like other ways to make illustration your career, whether that's full-time or part-time. By the way, I still think pursuing illustration as a part-time career can be very legitimate, and I feel like we should normalize that. But that's a whole other topic for another day. Back to my main point. I think it's not necessary to be part of an agency, but it can be enriching. Particularly in my case, the first 2 years were really great, and I stand by the fact that it was life-changing. I got to work on projects that really aligned with my values and brought something new to my portfolio, and projects during which I got to learn about my own process, how to streamline, no, maybe not maybe streamline is not the word, how to improve my process, how to communicate with clients, also how to set boundaries. And of course, it gave me an insight into what the prices look like in the industry. I am very happy and I'm proud of the fact that that was part of my journey as a part-time illustrator, even though now it's finished. And now moving forward, I guess I'm gonna have to work even harder on my self-marketing. I would argue that I should have been doing that this whole time. Perhaps that's a lesson learned for now, that even though I was with an agency. I should have been working harder on my own marketing. But at least, I have a part-time job still, and I don't have to worry so much about where my next income is coming from because, that part is pretty stable. The way that I would like to approach my marketing is just by staying involved in my creative community. Over the last couple of years, I've had the privilege and the luck of getting involved in the creative community in Trier. That is a city not so far away from mine. I got to know some really cool people, really nice people. And for what it's worth, if I don't get jobs by networking in that community, then at least I don't feel so alone. And it's just nice to have people around you who understand what it's like. And I would say, judging from my experience and also from what I've heard from other people, getting involved in your community, having other creative people around you that you are well connected with is the best way to find jobs. As for social media, I've decided that I want to be more consistent and post a little bit more, but I still want to remain a healthy boundary with social media because I think it contains a lot of harmful design. The ability to endlessly scroll, and also on YouTube, features like autoplay, they enable us to just stay, or they make it so that we stay on the platform longer. And I think that's really bad for our mental health. And so I want to keep integrating social media breaks, even if they're like little social media breaks, into my daily life because I don't want to get sucked into it. But I do at the same time want to remain a kind of consistency with it, make sure that I, on a regular basis, show new works that I'm doing. Speaking of new work, I have been lucky this year that for some reason I have been able to work on projects and collaborations independently, like without my agency. So, for example, I worked on a poster for a children's theater production for the Odyssey. I also collaborated on a mural in Hong Kong, and I gave a speech at the University of Applied Sciences in Trier. I talked at the Department for Communication Design about doing illustration as a career, even though that was very daunting and I had major imposter syndrome leading up to the event. I got some really nice compliments on how my talk was very informative and that I was very straight to the point. So that was really nice. And it gave me like that little boost of confidence that I do have something worthwhile to share, and my experiences in this industry do count for something. And at the moment, I am working on a book cover for a fellow artist, a photographer that I know. And all of these jobs, all of these projects, well, most of them, except for the mural, they came to me because of my connections within the creative communities that I know here in Germany. So that, I think, maybe, I hope, is some food for thought in regards to how to network and how to market yourself without an agency and without, or with limited social media use, in case you've been thinking about that. Although obviously I think social media can also be very enriching for some people. Everyone has different experiences with it. And speaking of experiences, if you find anything I say helpful, then obviously that would make me very happy. But everything I say is just from my own limited perspective, and I am not all knowing, okay? And if projects don't keep coming my way this year, if for some reason that streak stops, then I'm just gonna work on some personal project that I have in mind that I'm actually excited to work on. For example, I really would like to work on a calendar. I'm not worried. I feel at peace inside, and I think no matter what, I'll have things lined up for myself. So I think I'm gonna be okay. That's it for this video. I hope it brought some new insight into your life. If you would like to be the first to be updated on the ongoings in my illustration career and everything that I learn along the way, then feel free to subscribe to my newsletter, check out my blog. It's just easier for me somehow to get these new snippets out in writing before I make videos. Or follow me on Instagram. And yeah, see you next time. Bye, and thank you.